much money you make an hour?
I would say probably
The man, Russell.
Paid to sell your product.
Love this guy.
I honestly believe the entrepreneurs are the only people that can actually change this planet.
And the clock is ticking. Literally, the clock is ticking. I've got to hurry here. All right, welcome you guys. Come on in, grab a seat. We've got something really fun we want to do, you guys. We want to invite, we've had some kids submit some questions. There they come. Come on, let's get some kids in here. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Russell Brunson!
If you could go back in time and talk to your 10-year-old self, what would be the best advice?
Ooh. I liked to read when I was a kid, but I always would read just weird things that didn't mean anything. I think I would do similar to what Caleb's dad did to him and like find some books that would have helped me with myself and start reading some of those like personal development books and things like that. Because the hardest part about changing and having success isn't like the tactic. Usually it's like the stuff between our ears, like our brains, like how do we actually do things? So if I would have started younger reading personal development books and how to have confidence and belief, I would have done that when I was 10 years old. Because I was nervous and shy and awkward till my early 20s. Still am kind of awkward and shy, but I would have started that way earlier.
Is this on? Oh yeah, it's on. This is a very random question. People need to know.
Okay.
What is your mom's name?
My mom's name?
Yes.
Very good question. So my mom's name is Marty, and the reason why is her mom's name was Mary, and her dad's name was D. Lamar, and so they took M-A-R from Mary and D-E from D. Lamar, and they put them together and it saes Marty.
That's creative.
Yeah, that's my mom's name.
She has a two-part
Oh,
question.
it's a follow-up. Okay, what's the
I have a
follow-up?
follow-up.
Oh, she doesn't have a follow-up.
Oh.
You don't remember your other question? What was one lesson your mom taught you?
Biggest lessons I learned from my mom was how to work hard. A lot of people think I learned how to work hard from my dad because he got me wrestling all the time, but my mom was the one who made sure I got all my schoolwork done. She was the one I always wanted to impress. I remember when I got done wrestling in college, I wanted to kind of just drop out of school because I only had 2 months left, but I knew that my mom would only be proud of me if I got my college degree, so I would finish school out to make my mom proud. So that's what I learned from my mom.
My name is Jocelyn, and I'm 11. My question was, how did you get people to find your podcast?
So at first, they didn't. For the first few episodes, nobody listened to me. I had this idea. I was like, okay, I know that people that listen to podcasts like to listen to podcasts. Because I tried to tell people for my email list, I tried different ways, and it was hard to get people to listen. But I was like, if people like podcasts, they'll probably want to listen to my podcast. So I found a whole bunch of people in my Dream 100 who had podcasts. And I would go on their podcasts, and I would get interviewed. And I would say, if you like what you learned, I have a podcast over here. You should go subscribe to it. And so I got their podcast listeners to come listen to my podcast, and that's how I started growing it initially. My advice for you is I would go, and especially for all the kids that are starting podcasts, you should become friends and interview each other, because that way you kind of start sharing each other's audiences and you don't start to get to know each other that way.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Awesome.
Round of applause.
I'm Tony, I'm from Arizona, and my question is, if you could go back into the past and change anything, would you?
There's a site which I'm sure most people that have been involved in internet marketing are familiar with. I think about the times that were really hard that were painful, that I hated, but all of them were essential for us to get to here. So I don't think I would. Without the downs, the ups never could happen. So no, I don't think I would change anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
My name is Annie, and I'm from Mesa, Arizona. When did you start writing your traffic secrets book?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I started writing my traffic secrets book over a year ago. Dana Derricks had an event called Dream 100 Con, and on the flight out there, I started creating all the outlines and the doodles and everything, and then I gave my presentation there, and then when I came home, I started writing the book. So was that a year? A little over a year ago. So a little bit over a year ago. It takes a long time to write a book for me. I'm slow. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andy.
Here you go.
Hi, Russell.
How's it going?
My name is Aubrey. My question for you is, it's not entrepreneur related. What is it like taking pictures with people you don't know?
Oh, that is a great question. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little awkward for me because I don't understand it really, but but at the same time, it's super flattering. You know, it's funny because I spent so long, for a decade, talking about this stuff and trying to get people to care, and nobody really cared for a long time. Now that they do, it's such a huge honor to me. And so it always makes me nervous. It always is kind of awkward for me, but it means the world to me as well at the same time. So.
Oh gosh, that's great.
Awesome, thanks so much.
You're up.
Here you go.
Hi,
I'm Catherine, and I'm from Nashville, and I just wanted to know, do you think that there's one element you can put in a funnel that'll help it grow like exponentially and stuff?
There's a lot. I would say probably the most powerful, because I have some friends who, I did a podcast on urgency and scarcity, and none of their funnels worked. So all they did is they went back and they added urgency and scarcity to their funnels, and now they have a multi-million-dollar year business, because nobody would buy their stuff when it was like always there, so they always just take it away, and that's what got them all their sales. So I think if there's one thing to like amplify a funnel, is adding urgency and scarcity to it.
Hi, Russell.
Hey.
If you could go in the past and when you made a mistake, what would you fix?
Let's see, if I fix a mistake, I think I would have proposed my wife faster.
Oh, okay.
And I say that because of all the decisions in my life, that was the one that had the biggest, most powerful, most lasting impact, and I would have made it way earlier if I could have.
My name's Megan, and I'm from Florida, and my question was, when you make a funnel, what makes you proud of it and makes you feel like you're ready to release it to the world?
Ooh, what makes me proud of it? That's such a good question. For me, every funnel is like art. Like I see it done, it's just like, oh, like I'm so proud of how it looks like. But then the second side is like, every funnel we create is tied to a result. Like I know that when someone goes through this funnel, this is the result we're promising and what they're gonna get. The excitement of like, people are gonna experience when they go through it, that's what gets me like so fired up, just knowing, okay, this is, like when this goes live, literally when people start going through it, it's gonna grab them and change their life. And just like between the art and knowing what it's gonna change, those are the two things that just get me. This is why I keep building funnels at this point in my life. I could stop, but it's just so much fun.
I'm Chen Naluko from Las Vegas, Nevada. And the question I have is, what is the best way you would say is to build a course?
The first best thing to do is to take somebody or people through a process to prove that you can get results with it. Mm-hmm. So like before I launched my Inner Circle program, I thought I knew what I was gonna do, but I was like, I need to test this out. So the first thing I did is I found somebody that was like my dream customer. And for me, it was this guy named Drew Canoli. And I called Drew up and I was like, I wanna work for you for free. He's like, why? I'm like, I have this system, this process, I know it's gonna work. I just wanna do it just to prove that it's actually gonna work. And he didn't believe me, he thought I was lying. And finally I was like, no, I promise, I'll pay my own way and everything. So I flew out there and then I took him and his team through the process of what I wanted to coach people on. A couple of things worked really, really good, and some things like didn't work perfectly. And I had to go back and fix them and tweak them and change things until we figured it out. And I took their whole team through this process, and then we helped them launch their Organifi funnel that blew up. And I was like, hey, now I have results. And then I came back and I was able to build the course and the coaching and everything around a process that was proven to work. So the first thing I always tell people is like, go find somebody that you'd want to work with and work for free and do the whole thing, and that'll help you prove the process, and then you'll feel more confident when you're teaching it, when you're doing it, and just feeling comfortable from there.
All right, so thank you.
Yep, no worries, thanks man.
So my name's Nicole, I'm from Toronto, Canada. I wanted to ask, you said you're introverted. What made you be able to talk to so many people and be able to talk to such a big crowd?
Like this, I feel super comfortable. Even like this interaction with all these guys, like, can you tell how nervous I am? Like I struggle with one-on-one interactions, so I still have that. But I think for me, the biggest thing is like I believe so much in my message, like I had to get it out, and I kept doing it, kept saying it. And I got very comfortable, like in this type of platform, I feel very comfortable. When it gets one-on-one, I still feel more nervous, you know? It's just believing enough in something that I kept talking about till like, the way I was talking got more comfortable for me to eventually get to the point where you really start enjoying it. Like I love this part now, but it took me a little while to get there.
That's amazing.
Great questions. Yep, thank you. Okay, ask me again, really loud signal here.
How much money you make an hour?
I'd have to sit down and do the math on that, and I don't think you'd probably believe me. Can anyone in my team know the answer to that? How many hours in a year? I would say probably conservatively about $10,000 to $15,000 an hour. Good question. All right.
Guys, let's give it up for all these great questions. Thank you so much, you guys.